Welcome back to Fitness, Sickness and Our Complex Lives. I'm Stuart Bardin. Welcome back to, part two of the history of my my mental health journey, really. I hope you enjoyed the last part. There was lots of stuff in there and trying to cram it into a shorter time so our brains don't have to watch like a 30-minute video on Stuart, you know, about his mental health history. But I hope there was loads of information in there for you, and I hope I got across what I was trying to say and there was some helpful information in there. Okay, I want to go on to part two, and I've been thinking about it. So it's really odd because I haven't really thought about this stuff. I've thought about myself recently, but not about my history too much, not in this detail, little parts of it, and trying to work out why I have these moments. I want to get across as well that I've lived a good life. You know, I've had anxiety through different stages and depressions through many parts of my life, but I've also had times where I've been great, you know, really, really good. And the last few years, there's been a lot of that as well, but signs that I was going to end up for a massive fall as well, to be honest with you. So I want to get back to, my early 20s were here, there, everywhere, didn't understand my anxiety, trying to get help, but then like not getting any and just masking over cracks and, you know, being in more trouble than I actually realised at times, you know, burying feelings, not talking about them enough, you know, not even understanding what they are, you know. So I hope with these videos I can, one, help you if you're going through it, help you understand what those feelings are, yeah. And people that don't go through it, you can be aware of it and be a bit more sympathetic and empathetic towards what your friend, your family member might be going through. Because without you guys, if you guys aren't empathetic or willing to understand what this person is going through, it's going to be so much more difficult. If they come to you and they're like, I don't feel good, I'm having some really dark thoughts, I feel super depressed. If you're dismissive, they're going to just bury that deeper. They're never going to come back to you, and they're never going to speak to anyone else. So that initial contact from them is so bloody important that you know what they're coming to you with and you do something about it, okay? So, like, okay, so I think what I noticed is there's a lot of drinking going on. I'm out every weekend. I'm balancing jobs as well. I've managed to get some good jobs. I've always been, I can graft. I've got the gift of the gab. I do well in job interviews, but all these jobs I'm getting, and I was in sales a lot and sales manager. I managed to work my way up to sales manager and stuff like that. But you have to be quite organised, and my brain with anxiety fucking does not allow me to be that bloody organised. It's chaotic, and I know, and this is why I would get so stressed out with myself and so anxious. I know being in work, I always felt a sense of anxiety because I know functionally in my brain I was foggy and I couldn't handle what I was being asked to do, even some simple tasks. Sometimes I'd fumble my way through it and work it out. But I was stressing myself out more because I weren't achieving what I wanted to achieve. Everything was so bloody hard, you know, and then you know, it's your personal life, you know, the truth is I had some really long-term relationships with girlfriends and stuff, and some relationships that I'll keep forever, but also some toxic ones, and just life was so chaotic. You know, I'm going out every weekend. I've done that for years. It's taken me a while to recover. You know, it's obviously an addiction as well, because I'm like craving that for the weekend to get away from what I've just been through in the week, because it's been so bloody hard work. well, I'm stressed, I've done all this work, have I done a good job, does my manager like me, do people like me, oh God, I'm faking it, aren't I know I am, I'm not really performing here, I should be doing better. All of that, get me a drink in me at the weekend, get smashed, and then drag that into your week, and then not really being on form at work till Thursday or Friday. All of us do that, well, a lot of us do that. And it's a cycle, and you think you can handle it, and you think, you're all right, I've got a good personality, people like me outside. It gets messy, and there'll be signs. And then I noticed, one of my last jobs as a sales manager, I was lying so much about time off work, and some big lies, some horrible lies to get time off work. And really, I was really depressed because I couldn't handle what was going on. Life, I didn't know where I was going, and it was just taking its toll on me physically. Headaches, chest pains, heart palpitations, all signs, all, these are things with, good, you think you're having a heart attack, it's more stress on you, and you cannot cope. You're not sleeping, you're not working well, you're not where you want to be in your life, your relationship's falling apart. All of a sudden, you have got mental health issues, okay? So I went into a quite bad depression for about 6 months, almost a year, I think, really. And this all happened to me, where I know always deep inside I'm striving for better things, and here I am doing this, and I've got more buzz out of doing these videos than I did from any job or any big paycheck I ever had, and I've earned some good money, but this feels right, really. So I remember throughout my life I've always been trained and done exercise, and it's so important. I'll do a video on why fitness is so bloody important and keeping yourself fit and healthy, okay? But I noticed that I hadn't been able to do that as much in my life in the last few jobs, and I was like, I need it back. So I remember I got some training equipment for at home because I didn't have the money to join a gym, I weren't working, and then I applied to become a personal trainer. I went through that course. That was bloody hard work. I took myself out, like literally I was depressed in bed, and then this has happened to me before. This doesn't happen to everyone, it takes time, but sometimes I'll have depression, and then boom, I'm back, and then I fucking put all my efforts into something. And I did this PT course, and it was, physically, no, not a problem. And, I was still having depression while I was there. I know that now because I failed my theory test like 3 times. And that was like, how? Because in class, everything else, I'm spot on. I know what I'm talking about. I'm interjecting. I know I'm smart, but I couldn't get the bloody tests right, and it was so stressful. And I know even at that time going through that, I was just still dealing with like what the hell I'm doing in life. Anyway, became a PT, loved it. The fitness, I wanted, because that's what I missed. I knew fitness would keep me sharp and happy, and it did. And I'd done really well, and I earned good money, and I had loads of clients, and but I wasn't living right outside all the time. I was still partying and drinking, and then it would take an effect on because the sleep deprivation, and I was doing myself an injustice. But this is the thing. You'd think the PTing, doing well, and being happy and being fit and in shape would be enough to keep me on the straight and narrow and happy up here, but it wasn't, because there's still stuff from my life that I've never dealt with, and I'm keeping myself cloudy. Yes, I've got some success, and don't get me wrong, there were to be honest, the 4 or 5 years I've been a PT, most of the time I was on form and good and really mentally well and physically well, but there still were times, and it would pop up in the form of it's hard to explain. I'd be with clients sometimes, and I weren't there physically and mentally. My mind was elsewhere. over analysing everything I did and weren't sleeping well and felt down. I felt like I weren't doing enough, and I wasn't happy. There was times when I weren't, although there was great times, there became times where I just weren't happy, and then the same kind of stuff was happening. I got settled and going through some toxic relationships outside again. I don't call them toxic all the time. There's some good relationships that they fell apart, but a lot of it was because I couldn't handle my whole life. I couldn't handle it. It was too much, you know, relationship, job, work. And then I put too much pressure on myself. I started working, I went overboard. And this is where we have to be careful that you can burn yourself out. And it's a real thing. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to work harder than everyone, which is a great work ethic, but you've got to be careful if all the elements in your life are not there. So I worked every day. I'd be up at 4 AM some days. I wouldn't come home till 8 o'clock. I'd be going to sleep at 11. Like, I was just beasting myself. I was still going out the weekends. I had a relationship to attend to, you know, too much. And although I had like loads of clients and earning loads of money, I knew deep down I could make this so much easier on myself. So much easier. And I didn't. And then COVID came, and I could see myself spiraling out of control before COVID hit, because I was so tired and I was working so much, and I had a relationship, and my mum was very unwell. You know, that's maybe something I'll speak about in the future, we'll see, but it's very stressful for me. And my family is quite a sick family, you know, maybe something I'll talk about in the future. So, and I care, you know, this is a lot, you know, this is too much for one man, and we get stressed, and my previous anxiety problems, they're all there. You can see why we get sick. There is no mystery. You know, just because someone else seems to be all right, they're doing all right, doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with you getting sick. It's just overload, you know, an overload of emotions, and you need to do something about it. You need to seek help. You need to get someone to process it for you. That's why it's good to verbalise. This is why this is therapy for me as well. If I've got all these thoughts, if I speak them out, I declutter my brain, and that's why we need to listen to people that are suffering, and people that are suffering talk. We've got to get it out to someone. And then COVID hit, and I just used it as, there's some sensitive subjects here that I'm not going to talk about yet, because I won't, but I will. I need to ask permission, I think. But a lot happened over COVID. I was so worried about my mum catching COVID. I look after her. I could bring it home. I was worried about, I was just worried about people dying all the time. And I was drinking at home, and I weren't working because I couldn't work, because no one was seeing each other. I had no purpose, no drive. The world was falling to shit. So you know what? Let's just fucking drink at home and just eat shit. I ate so much crap. I did not treat my body right. I did not look after myself, and it just went whoo, and it became really unwell. I won't go any further than that. I'm going to do a video on what happened at the end of the breakdown, why I got sick, and where I am now, because I mean, you could just listening to it. Someone died. I was in a relationship, their father died, and it put a lot of strain. I could then not attend to that relationship like I wanted, because I was looking after my mum, so we were worrying about COVID, just worried COVID. I thought I was handling it, but I weren't. And I had a good summer, actually, with PTing and everything. I'm always trying, but I'm not dealing with the root issue. So I'll do another video about what actually happened after that and why I got sick. But look at everything I'm saying. There's reasons why we get like this, you know. It's no mystery why we mentally suffer. You know, the depression was so bad, I would keep myself in bed. You can't move. If you've got anxiety and depression, your anxiety is telling you, you know, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. You're not good enough. You're scared of this, you're scared of that. And depression makes you not care. You're apathetic to everything. Everything you once loved doesn't matter. I was questioning everything. I was like, oh, so what? We get married and then we'll have a baby. What's the point in that? It was bad. Right, guys, that's part 2. I might do a part 3, or I might go into what actually happened after that, but loads there to decipher, guys. I hope you learned a lot. I hope I raised some awareness. Support the movement, spread the message, subscribe, share this video. Hopefully it helped you, hopefully it helped someone. This was fitness, sickness and our complex lives. I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye. Thank you.